I'm Marco Garten, and I'm a computational plasma physicist here at Avalanche. I do simulations, and I also write the simulation code, so this really interests me because plasma physics is a field of very complex physics where a lot comes together. So thermodynamics, electrodynamics, there's numerical simulations on the world's largest supercomputers, which is really cool. And especially here, we iterate fast, and so we can see what we simulate. That's all very exciting. Plasma is just another state of matter. And typically, say you start with a solid, right? You pump more energy in, you heat it, you get a fluid, you heat it again, you get a gas, and then if you heat it more, you can get a plasma. And a plasma is unique because it's made up of free charge carriers, so ions and electrons. The atoms have been partially or fully ionized, ions and electrons are moving around freely and are very mobile. Heating atoms or matter in general just means that we're putting more energy into the system, and say for a gas, that means that our freely moving atoms or molecules gain more kinetic energy, and temperature describes sort of the state of kinetic energy that the particles have. And so we give them enough energy that as they collide, the collisions are energetic enough to knock out the electrons from their bound states. And that's how we end up with a plasma. A fusion plasma can't simply touch the walls of a reactor because it is 100 million degrees Celsius hot. And if that were to touch the walls of the reactor, the plasma would itself quickly cool down, and we would go away from a state of the plasma where it is good for fusion, but also more directly, we would erode or even melt the wall material, and so we would ablate it, we would get impurities in our plasma, we might destroy the structure of our fusion machine, but also introducing impurities into the plasma lowers its quality, and so we go away from a state where we can achieve fusion. In magnetic confinement fusion, typically we have a low-density plasma that we try to confine with strong magnetic fields in a large volume, and typical examples of that are stellarators or tokamaks. In inertial confinement, we try to basically let the plasma burn quickly before it falls apart violently, because to get the reaction in inertial confinement fusion, we need to compress a target typically very violently, for instance with super strong laser pulses, and in a billionth of a second we get the fusion reaction, and hopefully it burns, reaches fusion, and emits a lot of fusion power before it then explodes apart. Yeah, creating a stable fusion plasma is really difficult because to have fusion reactions, we need a plasma that is hot enough, dense enough, and confined for long enough to undergo the fusion process. And any instability will very rapidly get us away from these conditions that promote fusion. And unlike, for instance, fluids or gases, as we scan through our parameter space to find good fusion conditions for us, we can't really use scaling laws to predict what's going to happen in that new space or in that new regime, because plasma behavior is just very nonlinear and coupled, and so we find new instabilities in every regime where we go, and that is also a reason why we need to couple our experiments with the simulations that we do to hopefully predict where these instabilities occur and then avoid them in the experiments.